Welcome back to my office. Today I'll be going over my science fiction movies. Terminator 3, Rise of the Machines. Movie was okay. It was sort of a rebirth of the Terminator series. I think it was too long between 2 and 3 for this movie to be really good. I did like it overall, but not the best Terminator movie. Will Smith, I, Robot. I never read the book. I am a fan of science fiction, so I heard about the book. I know a lot of people who read the book said this did not follow Isaac Asimov's story. I liked it for what it was. I know there's a lot of situations where you can take a movie and remove the name and put something else and the movie would be great. I think the general public had the same take on this. But I like this movie. I like the robots in it. I like the action in it. I like the storyline. Special effects were great. Super 8, there was a lot of hype around this, a lot of the commercials, trailers, advertisement. I missed it in a theater. I had some friends who referred it to me, said it was good. When I watched it, I just didn't see that. There was not enough aliens in it. It should have been great. You've got J.J. Abrams and Steven Spielberg, but it didn't do it for me. Earth 2, I watched this as a kid. A great little series. But it's a box set. You unfold it, you've got the 4-disc. On the back side, some nice artwork. Great sci-fi movie. Basically it takes place in the future. Like all movies that are sci-fi related, somehow Earth gets destroyed and humanity's looking for another Earth. And that's what that is, Earth 2. Pandorum. It's a twisted movie. There are some similarities between it and some other science fiction movies. A little bit you can think of kind of aliens-like, some Ghosts of Mars. Borderline zombie, which I can't stand. It has Kong Lee, his acting debut, perhaps, I don't know. Dennis Quaid, captain of the ship. Another Will Smith sci-fi movie, Independence Day. I think everyone's heard of this. It's a great movie. I went to the theater and watched this the day it came out. Not a lot I can say that no one else has heard. It's got aliens in it. I liked it. It has the cyborg guy from Star Trek in it. He looked horrible. The Last Starfighter, a movie from my childhood. Later on, watching it again, it's kind of cheesy, but it has that nostalgia in it that I like. No one that I really know. Robert Preston, Lance Guest. He's 18-year-old. Great video game, kind of like The Wizard. Aliens recruit him, help fight them. Turned out to be a pretty good movie. Starship Troopers, outstanding movie. Casper really doesn't have a whole lot of good movies out, but this is probably his best. He has a leading role. There's some cheesy special effects, mannequins and some bad makeup, but the violence is good. Now the other movies in this series suck, but this was a good one. Vin Diesel, to me, his best movie. A lot of you may like other movies like the Fast and the Furious movies, but this was his best one. He was actually in shape for this movie. Seems like after he got big, he got fat. His movie started going downhill, but this was a great movie. I like aliens. I like alien planets. I like that the actual aliens themselves were hibernating on this planet, and it just so happened that they landed on this planet during the time of an eclipse, and that's where all the action starts. And there's some edge-of-the-seat action in this movie. The League of Extraordinary Gentlemen. I got 3 copies. 1 widescreen, 2 full screen. I like that movie this much. They need to make a sequel, a prequel, a trilogy, and then 2 years later, a 4th movie. It's that good. I never knew a lot of the people. Dorian Gray. Never heard of him until this movie. Researched him afterwards. Even read about him. Sean Connery does a great job as Alan Quartermain. You've got vampires. You've got Jekyll and Hyde. Dorian Gray, which, like I said, I didn't know about him until this, but I found out he's a good guy. I like him as a character on it. He's after him, which is kind of weird there on how that works, but I like how they were trying to capture all of the superpowers of the League of Extraordinary Gentlemen. Special effects were good. Sometimes Nemo's boat, it didn't look like it could possibly fit through this canal and be in that area, but I wasn't worried about that because I wasn't watching this movie as a documentary. Final Fantasy movies, I'm sorry to say it and I hate to say it, but Square, you blew your load on Final Fantasy VII. Everything since is you're just trying your best to recapture the magic of that game. 10 was okay, everything else sucks. So Square, remake 7, remake a sequel to 7 that's actually good. The Spirits Within, I don't know what the hell was going on in this movie. If you want a movie that's great on special effects, get this movie. If you want a movie to watch and understand, don't do it. This movie sucks. They lost tons of money. Final Fantasy VII Advent Children. I did like how it brought back some of the the whole cast of characters from the Final Fantasy VII game. The summons were in there. Bahamut, Sephiroth was in it. Even though I didn't like how Sephiroth became Sephiroth in this movie. I didn't like the whole 3 people, whatever. This movie is good if you're a fan of the Final Fantasy VII game. This movie follows Final Fantasy VII. It's a great companion to the game. And it has some good special effects too. Will Smith, sci-fi movie. Seems like they go hand in hand. I Am Legend. First time I watched it, I hated this movie. There was no reason for him to die at the end because they were well protected. I don't know why he blew himself up. But anyway, getting back to the movie. After watching this, I was like, nah, this sucks. But it grew on me. I wanted to watch it again, so I bought it. And I bought it with the special ending or whatever. And I watched it. Some of the special effects are not good. You can tell they're just cheesy. They jump off screen like, yeah, that's fake. They never really say these are vampires, but they're almost identical to a vampire. They can only go in certain areas, no sunlight. I hate that the dog died. That's really bad, because that was a sad moment there. But this movie is actually good after I gave it a second chance. I'm a huge fan of vampires. My favorite monster of all time is the vampire. And because it was vampire related, is why I watched it the first time, and I had high expectations because it was a Will Smith movie. It let me down in the end, but like I said, it grew on me, so I bought it, watched it again. Turned out to be good. Star Wars! Man, oh man. Episode 1 and 2 suck. There are elements of both of these movies that I like, but even after watching them 50 times, forcing myself to finish them, they still suck. The thing I like about this is episode 1, The Phantom Menace. I do like the underwater scene where the fish are constantly eating each other. And I like Darth Maul. Darth Maul was badass. I believe at any given day Darth Maul could take Vader out. He went out real bad, horribly bad. I think he was too powerful to be taken out in such a way. Special effects, they were good. I mean, they have to be just because it's Star Wars, but the movie, it was just watered down and it was slow paced, and the magic from the, well, I say the first, but 4, 5, and 6 was not in this. I don't know what he was thinking. Again, I believe there's a certain age between movies that just ruin it if it comes out too late. The last 30 minutes was awesome. Yoda is a badass. I didn't realize how badass he was. But fighting Dooku, that made the movie worth the 2.5 hours I wasted watching it. You had a digital Yoda fighting, and he was just tearing up the place. But the rest of the movie sucked. Minority Report, Tom Cruise. I'm not a big Tom Cruise fan. I think his whole Scientology religion has screwed up his acting. Like the subject matter, it deals with psychics. There's 3 psychics laying in a pool who have thoughts that predict crime. What happens is the law bases their arrests on these psychic predictions of crime, and at one point they predicted that Tom Cruise's character was just going to commit some kind of crime. So the movie is basically building up to him finding out what crime he was committing and trying to get himself free of that and prove that there was flaws in their premonitions. The Time Machine has Guy Pearce and some chick who sings named Mamba are in it. She did a good job acting. I liked it. This is a good movie. I never read the book, but it's done by H.G. Wells, and a grandchild of H.G. Wells is the director, producer, writer, somehow involved in this. I thought that was great. The effects were good. I do like how it goes from early 1900s all the way to 400 million years into the future, where humanity is divided. There's an evolutionary stem between people on top of ground, people above. As a matter of fact, I didn't understand the end. I didn't know if that was something that Hollywood added as far as the enemy. So I did read parts of the book to find out if the Morlock were real. And they were. So this is great. It may be something, if there's ever a graphic novel, that I'll read. Blade Runner. Sort of Star Wars, sort of not. Sci-fi, Harrison Ford. Robots. It's a cult classic. It's been released 10, 15 different times. I think there's a new Blu-ray coming out. It's a good movie though. I liked it. It has Ridley Scott's magical touch of sci-fi to it. X-Men Collection has a nice reflective, shiny box cover on it. Come out. Has some art from the different movies on the outside of it. X-Men Collection's on the spine. Open it up. First X-Men and second X-Men in one set. And you've got 2 bonus discs. To me, these were the best. Wolverine was okay. It needed to be rated R because it needed nudity and violence in it. You can't have a badass watered down with PG-13 rating. You just can't do that. Transformers Trilogy, total disappointment. Total disappointment. I watched the first one because I was a huge fan as a kid of Transformers. I liked Megan Fox. She did a great job being pretty. Acting. Malibu, he needs to be shot. Retire, please stay off stage. Do not get in front of a camera ever again. He messed up the Indiana Jones movies as well as this. But I do like his parents. His parents were good comic humor in that. Especially in the second one when he goes to college. That was good. But the special effects were good. However, it took them too long to transform. And they kind of got away from what Transformers was about when they over-animated the Transformers. The first one I liked. The second one was okay. I didn't even finish the third one. The second movie, I was in the middle of it, I was thinking, am I watching The Matrix? Am I watching Aliens? Who are these bad guys? What is this? Optimus Prime. I'm glad they kept the original Optimus Prime voice. Transformers. Transformers 2. Transformers 3. If I really cared, I know what the names of them were, but I don't really care. Three, 2, 1, action! This introduced me to a lot of literary, I can't say the word, but literate people, for lack of better words. Sorry. It's almost like that was M. Night Shyamalan's I See Dead People. Everything else has sucked since then.